Hi, this is Mark Ironmonger coming at you from Santa Barbara Wargaming, and this is the first part of kind of like a mini unboxing series dealing primarily with some historicals that Santa Barbara Wargaming has been getting interested into lately, specifically Flames of War, Great War. Now, those aren't the only historicals we've been interested in recently, even though we started out as kind of like a Games Workshop-centric wargaming group, Warhammer Fantasy Battle, rest in peace, and Warhammer 40,000 and the Horse Heresy, Warhammer 30K. Essentially, we play a range of other types of games, Infinity, notably with Michael Delabas, our Warcore correspondent, and most recently Malifaux with the brilliant Nethera campaign, and Daclithin, Christian, taking over effectively the role of henchman when it comes to the Nethera campaign. Now, within the last few months, I think it might be even within the last month, Flames of War, one of the two big historical, based around World War II war games that has come out, they've released an expansion. Or rather, it's kind of like an add-on game that's called Great War, dealing with some of the armored engagements that you find towards the end of the Great War, the war to end all wars, World War I, 1917, 1918, some of the battles like Ypres and Somme, Villa Bretonneux, and Passchendaele. They've released a very neat kind of tank-oriented version of what we usually think of as infantry trench fighting in World War I. As well, we've also dipped our toes, and will dip our toes, well, we'll just go ahead and jump in, I'm sure, in more depth in the future with bolt action. Most of us have at least small forces for bolt action, and then normal Flames of War, early war, mid-war, and Great War. But this first part of our, will probably end up being like a three-part series, is going to deal with unboxing material that we get from the Great War, just Flames of War, Great War. Now, most of the material that we're getting comes from eBay sources, primarily. We can say, I think it's called Summit Games or Summit City Games, and Lotus Vault, and some other Discount Game Inc. They're kind of coming in waves. It's primarily terrain that we're getting, but we also are getting enough to have starters for at least a decent-sized British force, which I think is called Mitchell's Marauders, and then a few extra Whippets and things like that, and then a German, whatever the German starter is, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. We're going to get that, and then a Stormtrooper, a Staatstruppen platoon. And so the first part of the purchase has arrived in a few different boxes, and so we're going to go ahead and unbox them. Now, I've already cut them open, but I haven't really looked at the content, so this is just going to be a very brief unboxing to see what material we have so far that we can get working on, get painting up just as quick as we possibly can, so we can like get tucked into actually recreating some of these battles of late Great War. And so without further ado, here is from Summit City Games. Looks like just a few things. Appears to be a Mark A Whippet tank. These are the medium tanks. They're kind of like light to medium tanks. They're supposed to be quicker and to help exploit breakthroughs of the larger class kind of land ships, the Mark IVs, the Mark Vs, the Mark VIs, things like that. And so we've got one Whippet tank here, and then we've got, it looks like, Mitchell's Marauders. I hope you can see that. It's kind of difficult to tell in the screen since I don't have a separate camera right now. What it is, Mitchell's Marauders is a complete 1500 point, for whatever that means, complete 1500 point starter set for British British combat in the Great War. You can see we've got company headquarters and sniper team. We've got 2 heavy and 1 medium tank, 1 whippet, and so got that whippet, and then an additional whippet, and then rifle platoon, machine gun platoon, Royal Artillery gun detachment, and I'll talk about some neat things that we're going to be able to do with these guns here, modeling wise, in just a moment. And so that is what we got from Summit City Games. Now we got a much larger box here from Lotus Vault. I love Lotus Vault. They get to you super quick. This was 2 days, I believe. Nothing was out of stock. They have huge range. As you can see, it's very well packed. Nothing was really moved around. We've got next day shipping on Magic the Gathering, Flames of War, Viejo Paints, Infinity Malifaux, yada yada yada. Lotus Vault, sometimes they'll give you coupons, a lot of times just kind of advertisements. You can see right off the bat, wow, it's all of the scenic bases. It's the scenic bases that I got for terrain. Now the verisimilitude of some of the anachronistic elements of this, since these are all specifically for World War II, might be lacking, but I thought thematically for some of the things like the headquarters or officer corps, or some of the, as I was talking about just a moment ago, the artillery emplacements, I wanted to add quite a bit of scenic detail. So even though it may be a little anachronistic, I think that the little push that we get of artistic license to make them look really neat and eventually kind of, dirty, that you get with the type of trench warfare that was so prevalent towards the end of 1917 and into 1918 during the big spring offensive of the Germans, offsets that. One of the things that we did get was another Mark A Whippet tank. So now we have a total of 3 Whippets, 2 large tanks. This was the recommended size of a 1,750 to 1,750 point force, which is what we're basically going for. When we get the Germans, we'll unbox those, and you get to see that the German starter plus a Stoßtruppen platoon is approximately 1,750 points as well, and so we'll be pretty evenly matched, I hope. One of the other base-oriented things I got was just a set of simple green tokens. These are your basic Flames of War, World War II tokens, but since the rules are essentially compatible across both systems, I felt as though having at least one decent set of tokens, nice basic acrylic tokens. We've got non-assaulting team, we got pinned down, bogged down, dug in, things like that would be helpful for use in Great War. Then I'm not going to go through each of these, but some of them are just absolutely brilliant. We've got a few of these smaller scenic bases. Soviet artillery staff team. Of course, we don't have Soviets in World War I yet, but I figure we could use this for pretty much, anything. It might be a German machine gun nest or something like that. Soviet artillery staff team base. Another one, just a nice kind of scenic way to represent your commanders. Here we've got a motorcycle, again, anachronism, but I don't think it'll be much of a problem. I think it'll turn out looking pretty good behind a brick wall. I think that'll look pretty neat, especially for like machine guns. The good old Spandau. But we'll see how that goes. And then we've just got a bunch of these. It looks like we've got 7 of these larger artillery bases. Again, some of them might be a little anachronistic, but by and large, especially when it comes to the British field artillery, I think that these will just be absolutely brilliant. We got a Soviet one here that has a kind of a dead cow there. We've got some sandbags built up behind a wall with a wagon wheel. I think that these will be perfect for representing light we're representing light artillery or machine gun nests on the battlefield. There's another nice dug-in one. I hope that you can see some of it. It might be a little difficult to see. I apologize. Again, I'm doing most of this through my phone. A lot of these unboxings, since I do not have a new computer to do a full-scale unboxing, professional looking battle reports, things like that quite yet. Okay, to wrap it up, the final thing that we received was a trench line system. As you can see, fully painted battlefield in a box for the Great War miniature game. This is going to be indispensable when trying to recreate the look and the feel and the conditions of trench fighting in World War I. Gale Force 9. The scale, they say, is 10 to 15 millimeter, 1/100th. It will work perfectly, I believe. You get to see right out of the box, pre-painted, ready to go, 2 of each of these sections. To be supplemented in the future. You'll see we've got some barbed wire sections on the way and some of these shattered battlefields and things like that. We basically have enough enough terrain to keep us totally covered for at least a 4x4 table with trench systems and barbed wire and ruins and shattered woods and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up before I ramble on too much longer here. I've already rambled on long enough. So this is going to be part 1 of Flames of War, Great War unboxing. I'll see you as soon as the second wave of shipments kind of come in. So until then, this is Mark Ironmonger signing off for Santa Barbara Wargaming.